In problem 7-8A, we're going to prepare a bank reconciliation. And what I'm going to focus on in this video is preparing the adjusted bank balance. So the problem occurs when you look at your bank statement at the end of the month and it's not the same balance as your amount in your accounting records. And so what we need to do is a working paper to say, listen, we realize they're not the same, but here's why. So that's what we're going to do. So the first step is to find out what the ending balance in your bank account is. So it's easy when we're doing this in real life because you can just go online and look at your ending balance, or you can get your statement in the mail or an electronic copy and you just look for that ending balance. So in this case, we're doing a bank reconciliation for September 30th, 2020. So if I look at my bank statement, so it says this is the bank statement, it said my current balance as of September 30th, 2020 is $67.95.5. So that's the first number that I'm going to put onto my reconciliation. So here's my reconciliation report, and I'm just working on this bank statement side. So I'm going to start with the bank statement balance, and that was 6795.50. So the next step that I'm going to do is try and identify any deposits that didn't clear the bank at the end of the month. So that means probably within the first couple days of the next month, they've actually made it into the bank account. And so I'll do those, and then I'll also look for outstanding checks. That means I wrote a bunch of checks during the month, except for they didn't clear until after September 30th. So that means the people that I wrote the checks to didn't actually cash them until after September 30th. And those are the only two adjustments, aside from maybe if the bank makes an error, that I'm willing to accept as the reason why my balance is different on my bank statement and my balance is different in the books. So it's a little tricky doing this in student life, only because in each question you have to identify which is the bank statement and which is your books. So this is the bank. So I'll just say right here, this is my bank statement. And then with these deposits, I'll just look through here. These are my books. So I'm just trying to focus on deposits right now. So what we're just going to do is tick and box, and I'm just going to highlight in green all of the items that show up both on the bank statement and in the books, because if they show up on both of them, then there's not a problem. So I see this first deposit for 5643, and I see this deposit made 5643. So those are considered cleared, and I'm okay with that. The next one I see is 256145, and I have one on my books, 256145. So that's cleared. My next one is this 1176.5, and I can't find it, and I actually think that's an NSF check, so I won't have to worry about that. So I'm just focusing on deposits. So my next deposit is 6436.8, and I see it here, 6436.8. My next deposit is 4230.6, and I have 4230.6. So the only one that I don't see is the deposit that I received on September 30th, and it didn't go through this bank statement because I can't find it. So then that's just called a deposit in transit. I'll just say deposit in transit. So I'll expect to see that deposit go through maybe the next few days in October. So for right now, I'm going to move this number 1133.7 onto my bank reconciliation. So I'll just see what my options are here. So deposit of September 30th, and I'll do 1133. Try this again. 1133. 33.7. So now it's just did a subtotal for me. So it's taking my bank statement balance, add the deposit that didn't show up in the bank. So I'm at 7929.2 before I look at any checks that haven't been cashed. So I'm going to start looking at the checks, and before I get started, so I'm comparing the bank statement and then the checks written in my accounting program. So these ones here are the books. So I'm just comparing the books checks to the ones that cleared the bank, and I'll highlight these in blue. So I'll just start maybe from here where I see check number 5904 for 9340.55. So I do see that it did clear the bank, but it's the wrong amount. So I'll have to deal with that later. I'm just looking at clearing the bank right now. So I'll just put a circle around this because they're not agreeing in the amount. But I won't worry about that. Again, I'm just making sure that it cleared the bank account. So then I see the check for 5901 for $14.50. So I'll highlight that one. And then I see one for 5905. And that's for 338.25. So those are cleared. I see the one for September 10th, which is 5903. And that's for $13.20. So those ones are cleared. And the one for 5888 for 6220, I actually don't see clearing the bank. Or let me just see here. That is the bank. Okay, let's just see. Oh, here's the problem solved. So there was actually two checks from my last month's reconciliation that were outstanding, and those ones cleared the bank. So the one was the 5888 for 6220. So that's the one that went through there. And then the other one was 5893 for 1485.65. And I actually don't see it going through on the bank statement, so it means it's still outstanding. So when a check is outstanding for at least 2 months, because that's what it is, I usually would follow up with the person that I wrote the check to see what happened to it, to even see if they received it. So this 1485.65 still didn't clear the bank, so I'm going to move that onto my bank reconciliation. Okay, so we can just put the check number down. And usually if I'm doing this in real life, I'd put the name of the person I wrote the check to. So 1485.65. Okay, so let's go back and check to see if there's any more checks. Okay, so I see that 5909 cleared the bank, and that's for 2140.4, and that's the check in your books. And then 5907 cleared the bank for 3324.6. And then check number 5902 cleared the bank for 985.6. So that's that one. So the additional two checks that still haven't gone through the bank account. So again, you wrote them, except for the person that you wrote them to hasn't cashed them yet. So these are considered outstanding as well. So I'll add that to my bank reconciliation. Okay, so the one check was 5906, and that was for 715.26. And the other one was check number 5908. And that was 856.40. So now what we do is we take our bank statement balance, add the deposits in transit, subtract the checks that are still outstanding, and then you'll get your adjusted bank balance. And so that's 4871.89. So by the time I do the adjustments from my books, it should equal 4871.89, and this is the amount that's going to show up as cash on the balance sheet.